So in this video, I want to talk quickly about some assumptions and concepts that we use all semester long in an introductory accounting course. Except we never really explain them, we just assume you know what they mean. So one of them is resources, and the other is markets, meaning really free markets in a capitalist economy. So to start with, resources are what you can see here on the screen. You can have tangible resources, things you can touch, or intangible. So tangible is obviously the things that will probably come to your mind first. So like oil, land, water, all those natural resources, including human resources, which is labor, and then what economists call capital, which is a bit different than what accountants call capital if you've taken an accounting course. So they can mean things like physical capital, your machines, your equipment, the stuff that does the work that produces material wealth, material output. It also means financial capital, so money as well, right? And then there's the intangible ones, which are just as important, you'll discover. There are some countries, for instance, that don't have the same education system, particularly in human resources training and management. There are ways to manage that allow you to get more work and more efficient work out of your employees. But if you don't know what those ways are, you don't have the same level of output. So education, as well as the spirit of entrepreneurship, your ability to organize, all of that stuff is important too. It's also, you can also have things like the legal framework that businesses and the economy operates under, the political environment, et cetera, et cetera. All of those things are deemed to be resources. The next is a market. When an economist says market, a free market specifically, what he or she actually means is this stuff. It's a market that essentially is allowed to respond, so the price is allowed to respond to the forces of supply and demand that we haven't talked about yet, but we will. So just understand that if you've taken, say, a management course, like the BOA or whatever it's called, leadership course, you might have learned of something called Porter's Five Forces. They're some of the main forces in a marketplace. So entry, can new companies come in and leave freely? Because obviously if they can't, you essentially have a monopoly situation, right? Are there taxes or government interference? There shouldn't be any in a free market. So it's a very theoretical concept. It's not an actual market out there, which is why there's weaknesses in some of the conclusions economists can draw from classical introductory level economics, right? Because there's a lot of assumptions. So number three, there's no legal restrictions, no quotas, no minimum or maximum output levels, no bans on producing certain products. So again, not always realistic, right? Buyers and sellers, there's lots of them. None of them have any power over anybody else. In other words, there's no Walmarts that control the retail sector. There's information is known by everybody. There's no secrets. There's no patents. There's nothing like that, right? And lastly, in the long run, nothing is fixed. You can change the scale of your production. You can change your costs. You can change your machinery. All that stuff. So when you say free markets, in other words, it's essentially saying it's free of any interference, free of any barriers or restrictions, and it's free to change.